welcome back to Imagination Station Network, and we're on episode 33. We've made it to episode 33, can you believe it? So, today we have Lee on the show. Welcome to the show, Lee.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we're not finished yet. We might get chopped out. We're just sitting shooting the breeze before you come on. Before we start, Lee, how are you getting on today?
Yeah. Just really looking forward to today. I was just sort of saying to you before we kind of came into the studio that I don't do enough of sort of taking myself out of the comfort zone. So, you know.
Well, we are going to take you at that comfort zone, fling you out and shut the door.
Thanks, I need it.
So, as I explained earlier to you, the idea of this show is purely creatives that I see something in, and instantly when you came in, being autistic and ADHD, I might not be having the best day. It's cold. I never turned the heating on for you down the stairs. It was like something out of the Muppets Christmas Carol. It's cold in here, sir. But you're a nice guy, man. As soon as you meet you light up the room there, man. And that's not a quality everybody has.
Do you know it's really funny because I used to have a mental health peer worker called Moira.
Right.
And
big up Moira.
Yeah, she's now actually a vicar in Orkney.
Wow.
She left that particular sort of line of work behind, went to university, studied for about 4 years, and then got her own church in Musselburgh.
Fascinating.
And then she's now up in Orkney of all places. And one of the last things she said to me, and she always kind of told me to hold on to it, she'd worked with me for about 2.5 years. She said, "Lee, always remember you're of unique company."
Yeah.
And I went... Politely, I told her to get lost, Without...
Hey, Mike, can swear here. So that whole show, you can't be swearing at Vic.
I don't want to embarrass her.
You can't be swearing at Vickers. that would be a quick start to this one.
To be honest, she came into my life at a really hard time. About 3 or 4 months before I met her at a mental health group in Duns at the Southfield Community Centre.
Oh, aye. Is that the big Victorian building?
Yeah, I met her at a place called New Horizons, and just instantly was just attracted to her. Don't quite know why. Kind of got on, da. Before I know it, she started working for an organisation which isn't here anymore called Through the Rain.
Right.
And so she went from being like a volunteer at New Horizons to being my mental health peer worker at Through the Rain, and she worked with me for about 2.5 years. And luckily, sort of nearly 10 years later, she still stays in touch despite being up in Orkney.
Oh, brilliant. I like Orkney. Once upon a time I got offered a job in Lerwick,
right,
which is a wee bit further up, man. And then I found out the plane lands on a beach. And I'm like, not a chance, man, ram it. So but listen, thanks for coming on the show, man. I'm interested because I don't go delving into people's creative journeys because I think it should be natural when you come on.
Yeah, no.
That's how I was like, right, let's go upstairs. Right, stop, let's get the camera on.
Yeah.
Because it's a unique thing. Like I explained to you, this exists because of my own creative journey, and when the world isn't as nice, create your own world, man. So thanks for coming into my wee part of the world.
No, it's a pleasure, and it's just nice to be sort of allowed, if that's the right word, to talk about my journey, because I was actually thinking about this the last couple of days. I don't even know how I got into writing, because all I ever really wanted to do when I was younger was play professional football for Aberdeen Football Club. And you kind of knew early doors that was never going to be an option because of your disability and that. The only other thing I actually considered was kind of becoming an actor. But that was kind of a very short-lived pipe dream. And when you sort of see what a lot of people in the industry today have to go through with crazed fans and stuff like that, I'm actually quite glad I potentially didn't go into that sort of line of work. So,
it's a tough gig. Like I'm saying that as if I've got loads of crazed fans. We welcome you, but I know what you mean. I've got stalkers and stuff.
Have you?
Oh, aye, some crazy. I'll tell you off camera. But some crazy times. So you protected yourself in the right way there. But I'm interested. I never brung your book up. So
Yeah.
what I'll probably do is pause this for a wee bit later and then go and get it.
Yeah.
But how did you? Like, I'm interested in writers, and how did you get into this? How did the...
Yeah.
Because obviously it's not easy to put pen to paper.
Well, a couple of things. I actually started writing properly writing when I was about 12 years old. And I was asked to do some junior football reports for my little brother's team down at Duns. They were only like under 11s.
Right.
So it was basically just a case of like a paragraph of Duns won or Duns got beat. These were the scorers. This guy was the man of the match. And that was literally all I was told to do. And I did that right up until he was in his under 17s team. And then I was then asked to do semi-professional football.
Right.
With Coldstream, East of Scotland, and I did that for about 2.5 years, and ended up leaving that because there was a supporter at Coldstream once sort of came over to me and went, "So what pish are you going to write about Coldstream today?"
Hey man.
And I went, "What do you mean pish?" He said, "I never understand how you sort of make them sound like they're Manchester United." And that was enough for me to think, right, well, okay, I'm not valued here. And I ended up leaving. That would have been about 2003. And I was also told by an old English teacher, Mrs. Crawford, that I would never, ever get anything published. I actually failed my English prelim.
Right.
I only got 22% in the English prelim, and so they refused to let me sit the final exam. So, yeah, I thought, I'm going to prove you wrong. And I literally just started writing. I had a computer at home. I've lived on my own for 26 years now. And I ended up kind of just sort of writing into like the early hours of the morning, 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning, and going to bed like maybe 9 o'clock and sleeping through the day. And that was just kind of my way of like, well, do you know what? This is kind of what works for me. You know, I'm getting peace and quiet. There's not like a postman at the door or, you know, a delivery coming or whatever. Yeah. And I got very, very lucky with the book because... Do you know how I got it published? I almost feel like a fraud because I'd had these collections of 10 short stories. I thought, I want to really get these published because there's no point writing them and then not getting them published for the world to see. And this is literally how my book came about. And I laugh about this all the time. So I went to my local library and I spoke to Joan Sanderson, the lady behind the counter. I said, "Do you know anybody that might want to publish my short stories?" She gave me a business card for Auger Press that are based in Roslin, in Midlothian, and it was just a business card. And I just messaged them, said, "I've been given your business card by my local librarian. Would you be interested in to sort of publishing my work?" I explained about my disability, about being born with my left-sided cerebral palsy and a third of my brain being damaged. I don't know whether that was the thing that kind of got me the gig. But she wrote back saying, "Yeah, just send them."
Brilliant.
So I sent them, and she came back and said, "Can we publish them?" I said, "Well, yeah, away you go." The whole process from giving them the stories to the actual being able to hand somebody a copy of the book in their hand was about 11 months.
Yeah, it's not an easy process, like.
And that's literally how I got my book published.
Good for you, man. But don't sell yourself too short, because that's what we do, though. Because I hate compliments, so I cringe when folk.
Yeah.
But don't sell yourself short. When your time was there and your time to publish a book was there, and you did all this stuff and you put the action in and you asked the librarian, the librarian gave you a number, and then you messaged them, and then they did their bit for 11 months. You did it. Don't sell yourself short, man. We're too quick to say use the word luck. Fuck off, no such thing. Hard work, man, is what went into it.
I have a great relationship with my publisher in the sense that I can phone her up and we can have a chat. I'll be honest with you, she's looking to retire very, very soon because she's had a lot of ill health in the last couple of years. And I wish I'd have kind of phoned her a lot more than I have done in this last 17 years since the book came out. But one of the things that she said to me, which kind of, will always live with me, is that the reason I said to her, "Why did you publish my book?" I said, "Because I've only really sold 400 copies in 17 years.
There's only 400 copies, man."
And she said, "I just felt as though I needed to give you a opportunity to share your voice. You've got something to say, and the world needed to see it." And it was kind of backed up by my neurologist, Dr. Miles Connor. Miles gets very, very angry at how people like me get very, very sort of sort of dismissed. And I might cry when I say this actually, because
men cry as well.
Yeah. He said to me, it really annoys me how like people don't give you a chance, he said, because you're somebody who kind of, if given the chance, will change the world.
And you do, and that's what you're doing. You're changing it in your own way.
Yeah.
We'll take a wee minute there, and this is where I'm going to do a wee magic trick for the camera. Here we are, we're back in the room. So I'm out of breath a wee bit, Lee, man. You know, I don't do much exercise and I'm running all the way down the stairs there to come back up. So for the guys who are listening on Spotify, I have Lee's book in my hand, and instantly when I was looking at it, we spoke about the front cover. As an artist who uses colours, that I like that. But when I opened the page, and this will get me emotional, and the first thing that I wrote there was, thanks to my mum for always being there through thick and thin. This one's for you.
Yeah.
See that in itself, man. That's a tough one for me to read. Like, my mum's lucky to see me do all this, but when I open the book and I see that, that wee message, man, and that's what I like. You're an honest. You're an honest guy who has obviously been on a journey.
Well, I'll let you into a little secret. I've not got my mum either.
Right.
She passed away. It will be April of 2013.
Right.
She was only 55,
So was my mum.
and on Valentine's Day of 2013, she was diagnosed with primary lung secondary brain cancer, given 3 months to live, and got just 55 days.
Oh.
So.
We should be proud of you, man.
Well, I'll be honest with you. The best bit of the book is something she wrote in the introduction.
Right.
Which I think is on the second page of the introduction. Because it absolutely sums me up brilliantly. The introduction, it should be there. Have you got that? 'Cause I think yeah. So my mum was called Georgina, but everybody just knew her as Gina. There's a bit on the second page where she talks about how the abuse I got sort of multiplied on an adult basis after I left high school. I was always bullied at high school. It was never ever physical, but it was mental. Yeah. And I think she writes there.
I'm going to read about it if that's all right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to write here. So the title's called Lee Seymour, Hemiplegic.
Yeah, Hemiplegic
Utopia.
Right?
So at the age of 19, Lee decided it was time to try independent living. He moved out of what had been his home for several years, leaving his mother, her partner, and 2 younger brothers. His flat was just a mile away, but Lee could enjoy the solitude and freedom for his restrictions. He could come and go as he pleased, and eventually venturing into the local social scene. Regrettably, events of taunting as an adult and adult level manipulated, but Lee did not let this pattern drive him back into isolation. 8 years on, Lee still lives on his own and has a small circle of friends, yet experiences daily abuse concerning his disability and being spoken to like a second-rate citizen. Most of the time, Lee tries not to let him bother him, but on occasion the torment becomes excruciating, and once again he seeks haven in his own universe where no one can reach him. It was during one of these spells that Lee began to write his short stories, and he could stay in, sitting in front of his laptop, pouring out his thoughts and innermost feelings in a clear, coherent style. His vivid imagination and grasp of English language enabled Lee to live through his writing as much of what he's unable to express by other means. Family and friends love him dearly, and to his mother, he will always be her very special firstborn son, Gina. That's lovely, man.
Yeah.
That actually just, sorry, I'm cut you after, that actually sums up. It's crazy how the people who sit on that couch gave me the answer to something that I was speaking about last night. That's how crazy it is. Like, I'm no different. I sit in my house, I sit myself, I try and help as many people as I can. A lot of the time it's no giving back in the way you've been treated. I'll just tell you, straight like shite. I'm sugarcoating it, man. I'm fucking treated like shite.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see somebody else who's on the journey with words, man, as well as sitting on the couch in front of me. So if nobody else tells you this today, I'm proud of you. For have somebody who has went through a similar journey and then puts it in a book and people buy it. So don't say you've only sold 400 copies. That's 400 people who have read that, and 400 souls who have been touched by the pages of the book. So, and I'm blessed that you've gave me a copy of the book. I will put it in my pile of reading, and it might go up one after reading that, because I'm not it's your podcast, but we'll get a wee chat. Like,
no, it's fine. No, the bit I was saying that really makes me smile is when she says that she sort of, I go into like a world of my own where nobody can touch me, and I always think that makes me almost sound like a god, you know.
See, you're just saying, like, it's weird how, like, conversations like this. So I got into acting because I want to be immortalised. I want to be immortalised, but not in the God sense. I want to be immortalised. Like I've sold a lot of paintings, and somebody somewhere in the next 100 years, maybe 200 or 300, will still have one of my paintings, and they'll be like, "Oh, remember that wee guy? He was always moving, or he was all." So I live on. Yeah.
Can I tell you a funny story now that you sort of say that? I've got a friend called Billy, and I've known him since I was 8. Billy Burnett.
Big up, Billy Burnett.
Actually, Billy's in the book.
Right.
I'll not spoil the surprise for you.
I don't, man.
But he came up with a great way of thinking about my book. So he said to me, Lee, how fluky you are. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, anytime anybody walks into a library, potentially... I
hope they're not flying in.
But anytime they sort of walk in, they'll come to your book before one of Britain's most famous writers. I'm like, what are you on about, Billy? He said, well, think about it. You're Lee Seymour. I said, yeah. She said, well, that's LS. I said, yeah. He said, William Shakespeare.
Oh, aye.
He said,
so in the same category?
Yeah. He said, SEY comes before SHA. I said, Billy, I like it, I'll take it.
Hey, man. You ever thought about doing a voiceover for something? You've got a likeable voice, man.
Do you know...
Hey, Mancunian, I think I said in there.
Yeah. Do you know, it's funny you should say that, because there was an old lady who had done some teaching in Africa just a couple of weeks ago, actually said to me...
I don't know how you would sound with an African accent, but...
No. She said to me, she said, Lee, have you ever considered reading stories for young children?
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you on about? She said the language that you use is so intelligent, she says, and it would just so go down very well with the kids.
I think like people like us who have to go through, like, very loosely use the word trauma. We like a story I told you down the stairs with previous job, we become articulated because we can hide behind them, because we know what the words mean, they know what they make us feel. So when you're articulated and you've lived it, then you're able to pass that on when you're speaking to people. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I've got a rough accent. If I come from Ayrshire, man, I make no apologies for it. That's the way we talk. But
well, I've lived in Duns for just over, I think it's 33 years now, and people say I've still never lost my Mancunian twang.
No, you've still got it.
Have I? Right.
But yeah, I think we've got to be a certain age before you start losing it. Like maybe if you come in when you're 5 or 6 and then you get that Borders twang. But no, man. Where can they get this book actually? Before
literally, the only 2 places you can get it is on Amazon, and I actually get none of the profits from Amazon. Would you believe?
How?
60% of it goes to Amazon for the free advertising, and the other 40% goes to Mirabella Maslin, who is my publisher. So so the only way I make money is if there's a copy sold over the Augur Press website. I think I get £1 of, the £9 that
That's crazy, man.
Well, I never did it for the money.
No, you didn't, but you could put that into your obviously we're talking about your next book.
Yeah.
You could put that into it, and that's fine because your publisher you nearly hitting on a dopamine hit for me, because it's like I've got a very wise man. He's called Graham Watson. He'll be like my Billy to you, and he gave me this gift to do all this, and he says, why would you want a publisher? I said, I want out there. I want people to know how good I am. He's like, aye, but you already got a company and you can advertise it and you can put it out there and you can show people, and you just need to find all the printers and all that. And I've done all that. So, and all the profits go into the company.
Okay.
So self-publishing is there. People like to use it. Yes, publishing's great, brilliant. But if you're doing it and you're going to use it, the profits for yourself. Don't mean like financially gain. I mean like put it into something. You seem like the kind of guy that would like to write a book and then have the profits and do something with it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And you know what I mean. And that's the knowledge he gave me.
The only other sort of money I make is if I was to sell somebody a copy, like face to face, like me and you here, I would get 50% of the cover price.
Right.
So I mean, I think the book's is it $8.99, so I'd get like maybe £4.
Have you got another book in you?
I've actually wrote a second book.
Right.
And
let's have a wee chat off camera.
Yeah.
We have our own publishing company.
I actually should have had it published by a guy called Jason Pegler. I don't really know Jason. Jason apparently is somebody that has suffered with bipolar disorder for many, many years, and he was actually going to publish my second book, which ironically has a picture of my mum on it.
Right.
From our first day at school in 1961, I think it would be. It was a collection of 10 short stories, and it was a bit of a piss take, if I'm honest with you, about me and my lack of success with the fairer sex. It was called Girl Power, actually.
Fucking hell, I love Spice Girls.
And this, I signed a contract with Jason in 2009, and he said, "Look, take all the time you need to edit it, make it perfect." Make it right. And then my mum fell ill a couple of years later. And he was kind of wanting me to get the final edit. I said, look, the last thing on my mind is getting this final edit. I'm watching my mum die of primary lung, secondary brain cancer. And I said, look, I don't think I can continue working with somebody like that. Would you mind taking me off your records, whatever? And give him his due, he did. So there's a collection of 10 short stories which potentially should also be out there.
Hey, man. Maybe hit up your old publisher and see if she'll take it on.
Well, she won't actually.
No.
I think mostly because she's looking to retire, and the publishing house itself is coming to an end because I don't think her children are willing to take it on.
Yeah, it's tough, man. That's why we started our own. Like I said to you, I'm ready to look for my own publisher.
Okay.
But to help people and give them the knowledge, that is what Imagination Station Network is. And we're trademarked under other stuff. I'll tell you about it off the camera, man. And whether it be imparting the knowledge on somebody, or whether it be giving you the contacts to help you do that.
I think that's probably something, without meaning to sound like I'm a novice, is I just don't know where these contacts are.
Neither did I 5.5 years ago. But I made sure, because this was all part of my plan. It was all part of the podcast. I've not fully explained why the podcast is here to people yet. But I will, when the time is right, and that all falls into the same thing. And I've nearly I'm terrible for getting all the secrets out, but I've kept on to this one. So what's next for you, man? You were like, I feel like you're in this stage of your life now where you're a happy guy, man. I heard you coming in the door, and normally I wait up here a wee bit,
right?
But then I came because when I see your laughter, I like it.
Yeah, well, so, see my laughter.
Aye.
Yeah. What's next for me? I would like to. One of the stories in my second book, Girl Power, which has yet to be unpublished, is about the time I saved a woman
at
Edinburgh bus station from being stranded alone. And the way it worked out, I'd been up at a football game in Aberdeen, and I went to the football on my own. I go to the football on my own. The plan of action that night was I was getting like the 6:15 train back from Dundee to Edinburgh. That got there about 7:45. I was going to nip over to somewhere on Princes Street, get myself something to eat, then go to the bus station about 9:30 to catch the National Express coach at 10 o'clock. And I got to Dundee train station, didn't know where I was going, didn't know where the ground was or anything. I kind of spoke to 3 Aberdeen lads, said, look, I'm disabled, I'm on my own, I'm going to the game, any chance I can hang a bit with you guys? I never bother. So I think we're called Paul, Scott and Dave.
That sounds like a band.
It does, doesn't it? They took me to a pub with 6,000 Aberdeen fans in.
Man.
It was the opening day of the season. We were playing our bitter rivals Dundee United away for home, and we got beat 1-0 in the last minute.
Right.
And they walked me back to the train station, and they said to me, do you want to come back up to Aberdeen with us? You know, drown your sorrows up at, the Granite City. I went, look, I said, I've got a coach booked, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. I actually had a guy who was picking me up from outside the Leap and Salmon in Berwick, and taking me back to Duns.
Duns.
He was a taxi driver called Graham. I said, so as thankful as I've been for you to look after me, you know, I need to kind of stick to my plans. I got on the train at Dundee. I'm really trying hard not to swear.
Hey, man.
But I literally sat down on the first seat I could find and my phone went. I'd not told my mum that I'd got to Dundee okay.
Right.
She was just a worry for me.
Aye.
So picked up the phone. Where the fucking hell are you? I've not heard from you all day. I've been worried sick. I said, don't worry. I said, there's been 3 Aberdeen fans looked after me. She said, when does your train get into Edinburgh Waverley? I said, about 7:45. She said, do you want picking up? I said, no. I said, you just... Because she was at Edinburgh Western General with my stepfather, Gordon. Gordon's mother had throat cancer at the time, so they were up visiting her. And I said, just stick with Gordon. I said, because you know what cancer's like.
Yeah, man.
You never know what's going to happen. I'll just carry on with my own, my own plan of action. So got to the train station, as I say, 7:45. I nipped over to, I think I went to McDonald's actually. Mm-hmm. And then I went to the bus station and I went to check in. And the driver said to me, your name's not on the list.
Oh, Jesus.
I said, what do you mean my name's not on the list? I said, I was told I didn't need to. He said, it's the Edinburgh Fringe month, isn't it?
Oh, wow.
Everybody's kind of...
Packed.
This was like the 4th of August, 2007. So everywhere was booked up, He said, I'll do you a favour. He said, stand over there where that bollard is. I had a big red Aberdeen, like the Manny hats and the Rennie hats that they had from the Stone Roses.
Ah, yeah.
I had one of them type things, but it was an Aberdeen one. He said, go stand over there where the bollard is. He said, know where you are. This was about, as I say, 9:30. About 20 to 10, I overheard him behind me say, go stand over there with the man with the big red hat on. And I turned around to see who or what was coming my way, and it was an absolutely drop-dead gorgeous 20-year-old American woman called Amelia.
Right.
And she comes over to me, and she says, are you lost too? And I went, not particularly, why? She said, I'm trying to get to Berwick-upon-Tweed. I said, yeah, me too. I said, in fact, I'm going to a little town in the Scottish borders called Duns. She went, oh my God. And I went, what's up? You're scaring me. She said, do you know a guy called Paul Burns? I said, I know of him, but I don't know him. I said, his ex-girlfriend's little brother used to go to school with my little brother when they were kids.
Right.
I said, that's about as far as the connection goes. So she gets onto her phone. Paul comes on the phone, and I politely got told to look after her, or if I didn't get her home safely, I was dead. The first question he actually asked me was, how many winners do you have at Glorious Goodwood today? I said, I've not been betting on the horses today, I've been up at the football. So we kind of, me and Amelia, had, it just blew my mind, 20-year-old American woman who literally was trying to get to Duns where I lived.
Mental, man.
Wasn't going to like Glasgow, wasn't going to Newcastle, London, anywhere. And we agreed to stay sort of together, no matter whether we could get this coach or we had to get like the X62 that comes from Edinburgh.
It's been a while since I've been on a council.
Yeah,
I call them a council limo.
And we actually had to get this I think it was an X62 that goes to Gala Shields, and it left at 10:15 that night.
Right.
I didn't realise it was a 2-hour job.
Oh, right, run everywhere.
So it went like Peebles, Innerleithen, Walkerburn, you name it, Clovenfords, and we turned up at Gala Shields 12:15, and we kind of melted the heart of a taxi driver and managed to get a taxi from Gala to Duns. We got to Duns Market Square about 1:45 on the Sunday, and the most... This is kind of when I think, sometimes life is always almost set in stone, that you can't...
Serendipitous.
Yeah. Who was waiting with this Paul Burns, but his ex-girlfriend's little brother, Graham, that used to go to school with my little brother. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a very, very exciting story. Now, we swapped email addresses and stuff like that, and she hadn't really been in touch, so I went onto Facebook and just wrote her name in. Managed to find her. This was about 2.5 years later. And what I didn't know was, when we were pulling out on the X62, she got on her phone to her boyfriend, who was a very, very famous English sportsman.
Right.
And she's still with him today. She actually married him in 2018. He went on to win the World Cup with England at cricket.
Excellent, man.
In 2019. And I actually ended up writing a story that took about 6 days based on this 3 hours I had with this girl. Never ever seen her again. We're obviously sort of connected on Facebook, but she's not a massive social media user.
Yeah.
I wrote a story called Philadelphia, because Lee was stuck in a situation with a girl from Westchester, Philadelphia.
Ah.
And she's married to the England cricketer Liam Plunkett now.
Right.
And
hey man, but the thing is though, the stories like that are they're part of the journey, man. You're stitching them all together.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I find fascinating about creatives who are, you know, once labelled yourself as anyone, as a writer, as a anything, and that's the power of being a creative who is coming on a show that he doesn't know about, sharing the journey, sharing the stories, and laughter, and showing people what can be done. So you're the example of.
Do you think?
Aye, I know. Here's a question for you.
What's that?
So, do you want the book or do you want the phone? If you've watched the podcast.
Do you know I love the phone?
I was going to say. So, do you know the story behind the phone? Did I explain that?
No, you didn't know.
Right, story behind this phone is I painted a guitar for Paolo Nutini, and I still had some of the paint left, so I decided to make it the same style, Jackson Pollock, as Paolo Nutini's guitar, and I kept that.
Wow. How much you want for it?
The guitar stand in there is also Lewis Capaldi's. He never got that back, sorry Lewis, but I kept it. Do you want me to hold it?
If you want, yeah.
So if you could choose to phone anybody in the planet, here or not here, what would you, who would you, and what would you, and aye.
Can I have two?
Fucking hell, man, he's like this is deal or no deal. Right, listen, how much are you offering him?
I was thinking more.
Of course you can.
I was thinking more one dead and one living.
Right.
I think there's only like one candidate for.
I don't need to share them. It's up to you whether you want to share the person or not.
No.
Go for it. I'll do the ringing. Hold on.
Ring.
Ring.
So this will probably be the first person is the one that's dead, and there's only one candidate. It's got to be my mother.
Right.
So, hello, Mum. How we doing? What are you making me of on this Imagination Station Network podcast with James? Yeah, I think it should be. I think you should be proud to see me. You know, as I said earlier, coming out of my comfort zone. She actually said on her deathbed that she was sorry for giving me a crap life and for being a shit mother. She had naught to apologise for. She was told when I was born that I'd never walk, never play for Man United, and never be a concert pianist. And so the fact that I'm walking, even with a limp, I walk on my right heel and my left toe.
Right.
So the very fact that I'm able to walk to a fairly decent standard is all down to her, because what ended up happening was she pestered, if that's the right word, all the medical professionals. Look, can you give me exercises so I can give Lee the best chance of walking before he started to school? And she also took me to Lord's, you know.
Oh, aye, France.
That thingy. And apparently there was a man approached my uncle Chris in the TV room of the hotel that they were staying at. And he said, "Can you take me up to the sick baby boy?" And my granddad apparently wanted to pay this guy. But he came in, he didn't even seem to speak in an English sort of tone or anything. Sort of mumbled something in a foreign language and told the family to take me to the grotto the following day, splash the holy water on me in the sign of the cross, and everything would be alright. So that's what they did. And a few months after coming back from that sort of excursion, I was sort of walking.
Brilliant. Thing is though, man, there's things out there people don't know, and if you don't believe, then now you're going to know that. So my motto is that first of all, you have to believe in order to achieve. I believed in all this. I believed in people. I believed people would come on the couch, and they come and they put you away. So you don't need to be religious
no
to get an understanding of if somebody wants something, you're going to get it.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because my writing itself is something I've always been very confident in.
Mm-hmm.
I've always thought, you know what, I'm a decent writer, for want of a better phrase. I don't need to prove it to everybody.
Of course,
you know.
When you go like inwards, it's hard, and we can hide behind the words more than what we can in real life because you can dodge it.
I mean, does this sound arrogant, right? Sometimes I'll pick up a copy of my book and I'll read it and I think, God, did that come out of my mouth? You know, did that come out of my head? God, that's quite good.
Why would it, like, I've had somebody tell me the same thing because I tell people how many paintings I've sold and, they told me that sounds like arrogance, and I respected that. But in this instance, why would it be arrogance when you went through everything you went through in order to write a book, which means when you lift it up, whatever page you pick up, you created that.
Yeah.
You should be proud of that.
Well, like, I've got a thing on my computer now. I was in the bookies. I want to actually write a story about the people that go to a bookies. That's, I think you were asking earlier on about, you know, what was my next challenge.
Yeah.
That's one thing I think I really maybe need to give a bit of attention to because I've been talking about that.
Call it the bookies pencil.
Well, do you know what I actually call it? I'm actually thinking of calling it horsing around.
Oh, aye.
And it would maybe be based around maybe 5 or 6 regulars that went to a bookies. How you would develop the story, I don't know.
Winners and losers.
Yeah, but I was in the bookies once, and I was going up to the football in Aberdeen, and I was going up for a game on a Thursday night, but then I was coming home on the Friday, then going back up on the Saturday for a game on the Sunday, and then coming home on the Sunday. And I was just kind of wasting a bit of time in the bookies before I went to Berwick-upon-Tweed train station. And old Irish John said to me, "Where are you going with that backpack of yours?" I said, "Oh, I'm going up to the football in Aberdeen." He said, "How long does that take?" I said, "Oh, it's about 3.5 hours on the train." He said, "Are you staying over the night?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "There's no way I'm getting back, you know, the following, you know, after the match." I said, "I'm actually going up 2 days later for a second game and then coming back." He said, "You're bloody mad." And then I said this line, and it's always lived with me, and I need to write a story about this. Don't know how I'm going to do it. And I turned around to Irish John and I said, "Well, you know me, John. I bloody watch Aberdeen from Timbuktu to the Amazon jungle." And I just love the idea of writing a story based...
Picturing you in the jungle with a wee telly. That's how it starts. That's how it starts.
But it was just, you know, this might show how, as Moira often says, how beautiful my brain is. I get a bit, you know, scared when, you know, people like that say it. But I know there's a lot of sincerity to it. I don't even know where those 2 places came from. Timbuktu, Amazon jungle. You know.
I think when the time is right and the words align, man, you'll be able to smash it out, man.
Do you think?
Aye, the writing's like that. It never goes away. But we're out of time, man. But we could sit and talk all day.
You'll have to get me back.
Aye, maybe get a part 2 on this.
We must get a part 2.
But it is fascinating though, man. Like, it is nice, and I'm proud that I'm able to have people like yourself on the show. Regardless of disabilities and other things, you have abilities that outshine these other things that people take it for somebody who's been constantly... I'm trying not to swear now. People have not been kind. But to meet somebody who's on the journey is fascinating in itself, but also somebody who's living in their own journey. Because a lot of people try and live outside that. I want to go here, I want that, I want this, I want the big telly, I want the car, I want the wife, I want that. How about you just try having a wee bit of life first and see how it's going? That's what you're doing. I love that.
Well, I think for me, I think it's all based around having the right level of confidence to do the things I want to do. I think also you have to... Well, I personally do. I personally feel that I need folk to believe in me. Does that make sense?
We all want somebody to believe. Like I said to John, in the bit of the book there that struck it is the circle. I've made my circle very small. It's insular, is the word I use. It's very small now. And every time I go out that circle, I'm met with another challenge. So I'd like to just live in that wee circle for a wee while. And I think that's what we do. We try and go too far with things.
I think probably where a lot of my unhappiness has come from in life is feeling as though I've needed to impress other people
Yeah.
to be liked.
Oh, I get you, man.
Now, I know you touched on it earlier on about, selling between 400 and 500 copies in 17 years ain't bad. And yeah, I feel as though the older I'm getting, the less I'm paying attention to that sort of negativity. I actually once had somebody call it a pamphlet.
Right.
And I'm like, wow.
Pamphlet's one sheet.
Yeah. And I've had people refuse to buy it because it's not a Kindle.
Oh, but you can't please everybody. They're coming up against the same things as we do. With the idea, I push past it, then I create other bits to add it in. I'll try and tell you after the camera. Listen, guys, this is coming up to our wee Christmas version, so this will go out soon. But listen, don't be too hard on yourself, and thanks very much for your time.
Oh no, it's been a pleasure.
You don't know who you're inspiring, and that includes me. I mean that from my heart, man. That's like, you don't know who you're inspiring. So guys, listen. I always say this, man. You need to be kind to yourself. One of my best things I have in myself is I can only go to work with others once I've worked on myself, because I am important. So that's what I'm telling you, is you're all important. And thanks very much. Thanks for your time again, Lee. It's
been a pleasure.
It's impressive as well. So we'll get a wee chat off camera. But listen, guys, go and find out where Lee's stuff is. Check out the Amazon. Check it there. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever all the buttons are, man. Let's grow together. See you later.